Hey, welcome back to Tactics Talk with Guido. Got a replay analysis here for you from Cheesehead19, I believe it's 64 or something of that nature, from WCTNT clan, driving his Tier 6 Jackson American TD. And he is in a 3-5-7 middle tier, which is actually a pretty good setup, especially for this Jackson and the gun he's got. And looking at the competition, he should be able to punch through most anything that he finds. Let's talk initial positioning here, Cheesehead. I don't particularly care for this middle spot on this map, and we are clearly here on Swamp as well. Spawned in the northwest. This ridge line right here is a very reactive kind of initial position, and yes, it can have shots across here. Sometimes if somebody gets silly over in this area here as well, but rarely does it have anything in this area unless they start to come around the corner. And if they start to come around this corner, that means they've beaten you down here in the southwest. So the other options you had were to go with your heavies down here to the southwest. It is much more difficult for the north spawn to take the castle than it is for the south spawn, and it's quite imbalanced actually over here. So I don't really recommend necessarily going this way, although they end up doing a okay job, at least initially, down there. At this tier and with the setup that you have, potentially your tanks have a good chance of taking the castle. The other option is to head over here, or potentially to move across to this middle part here with the option to flex up into the northeast. For my money, where I would have gone with your tank is I'd have headed up here with this other Jackson and worked in the northeast. And once that is won, either push here if it makes sense or flex back to the middle looking for those shots. However, we have decided to go to the middle, and we're going to use this tree and these bushes. Alright, you are basically out in the open to anybody who comes around this corner or YOLOs through this kind of open area right here. And while that is unlikely, there's no reason for that much of your tank to be out in the open. I'd have tucked up over here a little bit to the left into this bush a little closer, and I'd have had a lot more cover at that point. But as it is, we will see what's going on. We see that there's a Cheeto right there, or a Cheenu. We'll take a shot, nicely done. Alright, zoom out in between shots. There's no reason to sit here pointing right at this guy, at least a little bit. So do one of these right here. See if I can get it to go. Zoom out a little bit, take a quick look, and then zoom right back in, and you might get another shot. But once he backs off like that, he is unlikely to come back. You're not going to have a shot. Zoom back out and start gathering SA. You are looking down the soda straw way too much. Way too much. And a good case in point here is you zoom out a little bit, but you're not really looking around. You're kind of staring right here, hoping somebody's dumb enough to come up around the corner. And as we stare here, a shot goes by, and oh, hey, look, there is a lit ISU 122. So had you been zoomed out a little bit more, something akin to this, you'd have come over here and then zoomed right into this guy. And right about now, started to zoom in with your gun and probably got a shot before he gets away, as it was, because you're looking through the soda straw and then you swing over in sniper view. It takes you a while to get your gun online. You're going to have this problem quite a bit during this game, and it's a tendency that you've got. You need to, just to belabor this, zoom out in between shots, or even at this point when you're trying to gather SA on where your next shot is coming from. And we're going to watch this happen multiple times. Again, you're not going to get that shot area. That guy's well below. Holy cow, we're zooming. Wow, I'm getting a little seasick there. And we missed the 2801 kind of zooming in. Now he's behind a rock right there, and we're just staring at where he is. There you go. Come back out. Just wait for him to come around. There's a tree down in front of you. There's somebody. Whoa, whoa, whoa. All right, we're going to get this shot. That's good. And it looks like they're winning up there in the castle for the moment. Things are going pretty well for your team. KB1S and the Churchill have got up there, or are in the process of it. So that may have not been a bad deal. Holy cow, there goes somebody down there, and we're zooming in, and oh, no, no, no. Okay. Zoom out a little bit more. You're way too far into the soda straw. You need to zoom out a little bit more. That will make it a little bit easier to swing your gun across to get that shot. You need lead fire on him, but just pointing at him isn't going to do anything for you. Whoa, oh my gosh, we've missed another shot. No, he's over there. Having a hard time following him because he's fast. I get that. All right, now you got an issue with he's pushing right up on you. So you get two options right here, neither of which you really choose. First one is to move forward a little bit and use your depression and take out that Chaffee, because he's going to start lighting all you guys up here. Second one is to back up off of this hill right here so you don't get lit by him, although he may proxy light you here pretty quickly, because you know you're going to take aggro from across the way right there. For me, I'd go after that Chaffee right now and take him out. But you sit there kind of looking at it, oh boy. Alright, IKV got it. And that should not have been a surprise to you. When your light goes off, you start moving. As soon as he died, I would have been backing up, because I'm pretty sure I'd have been proxy lit within 50 meters, or even seen based on he's going to have pretty good burn through at that range as a scout, and I'd have started backing up immediately. Now we got something going on over there. You can see that your guys in the castle are going to start losing. So I want you, Cheesehead, to take a look at the map right now. You've got a whole bunch of you sitting in the middle, and you've dropped 452, so you've hit a couple guys. You've probably left 3 or 4 shots on the table, so potentially been up to 1,000 damage already. You got a big issue going on up in the northeast, and it looks like the fight down in the southwest is heating up as well, and the majority of your power is all clumped together sitting here trying to snipe on this hill. And that goes right back to the initial positioning decision I was talking about that I didn't like, because it's a very passive spot. Now, some players do that for lots of reasons. Older players, guys who don't have the twitch skills, they understand their limitations, and that's all good. But you can still add a little bit, or a lot bit actually in this case, better camera work and aiming technique so that you can get more shots downrange. Because it's not that you didn't really have a lot of targets, it's just that you missed a lot of possible shots. That was another example right there. The 28 was running around, the 2801, and you were staring into the castle, and that's going to be very difficult to get a shot, not to mention the fact that they're actually on the other side of that big castle, and there are very few lanes of fire through there. Now you've got a definite situation up in your northeast, and it is time at this point to flex. You need to make one of two choices. Either come down here and position yourself to help these guys, or to help destroy anything that pushes through, which may be positioning back to this way or coming over to here. Or for my money right now, I'd be headed this way to try to stop this northeast corner collapse. There's only 2 of them up there. They're probably hurt. One idea is to come where the Santa Mill is. I would probably come up underneath this ridge right here and get into this position over here where I can take a look at when they want to come off these 2 ramps right here. Another possibility is to swing all the way back around here into these buildings and wait for them to come down. As it is, we kind of sit here, and you can see that you start to move now. And what you choose to do, and I'll speed this up, is go over to the west side. Alright, fair enough. We're going to the west side. All is not lost yet. We're zooming on over here, making a choice on where we're going to go. Do I go up and help the IKV-65? There's a couple tanks up there, a Churchill, the WZ, but then, nope, we're going to choose to go right up onto the top of this hill. Now this is a pretty bad positioning decision right here. There's no real reason to go here. You can be easily seen by anybody over there, somebody coming through the middle, somebody there, somebody coming up on the bottom end of the castle, and anybody coming down around from the castle. And you know there's at least 2 tanks there, and there's an ISU around here somewhere as well. So sitting up here, not really much cover. There's a downed tree or bush or whatever that is, but a lot of your tank is really out in the open right here. For my money, where would I be? I'd probably be over here on this bush or this tree, covering myself from being seen this way, but looking up this ramp with some cover so that if they do come around the corner, I've got binocs and camo, I can get that first shot. And then once I get that first shot, I back down off of this hill so I'm not as exposed. I definitely do not get up onto the top of this. Because it's possible they can come around that corner and see you before you can see them, because there are several bushes right there. We get into another situation where your camera work is really going to hinder you, because the ISU shows up right there, and just quite late on recognizing when things light up. I mean, you eventually see them, so I'm assuming that you're working on the mini-map for that. For my money, I'd have been locked, so left mouse button, lock my turret forward to there, but also looking around. Now I'm doing it, doesn't show it in game, obviously, but my turret would be pointed that way, but my view would be looking around this way. So right button, sorry, I think I said left, right mouse button held down, turret towards where I know the threat's going to come from first, probably, but still looking around. So even though I'm using my mini-map, I'm also looking for a visual because if I saw that coming, I could get my gun onto him much quicker. And you're going to see here, you just missed that shot. Again, you're really following this guy. Zoom out to about here and see where he's going. Oh, he's coming over here. I think I might get a shot here. Let's zoom in, right, pre-zoom in here, or maybe this window. I'll pre-zoom right in this window right here. I might actually get a shot off. But if I just follow him like this, holy cow, he even got out of my view. Whoa. All right. Additionally, right here, you have to know you're spotted right here. All right, he just drove through. Look at this ring. He's well inside this ring. You're not really behind much of anything. And in any event, there's other guys up here, and guess what? Here they come. And actually, your sixth sense didn't go off, but I would have assumed. Take that shot. Oh, come on. I would have assumed I was spotted based on that, and now I am. All right, and now I am. So I got up there. I sat there. I didn't get a single shot. I was not really well positioned to ambush anybody. In fact, I got a little bit ambushed right there, but at least you back off, and that's good. All right, let's take a quick look, analysis of what's going on for the rest of the team. I still have a couple campers here. My arty's here. This guy's gone up the M4. He's trying to deal with this issue, and now I know I've got at least 3 guys here, so I've got to start taking some of these guys out. And oh, by the way, those 2 guys over there are pretty hurt. So what do I want to do? Do I go charge the ISU to take him out? No, that's not a very good idea because I'm going to be crossing this open area. Do I use this lower swale, this little divot right here, okay, ravine, and come up and take these guys on? Absolutely. I have 100% hit points. I drive right up in here, do a little hold down here as much as I can, and I start taking shots on these guys. Is arty a problem? Yes, and you're about to get hit. That's one, and another, and it's going to take them a while to repair. I would use my repair kit, and I'd be going right at those 2 because now I've got to reload for those 2 arties. And I need to start taking down some tanks. So very passive right here. We're going to choose to come around here then and look to ambush these guys. We don't know what the ISU has done. So we're going to come here, and again, we still have the kind of that issue again. We're out in the open, and they can potentially come through those bushes right there. And it looks like the ISU has gone through, and the 34 2GFT has gone through. Okay, and it looks like your thought pattern here is to turn around and start taking these guys on. But there's still this threat here, which is now you're now putting yourself in between 2 threats. I would have said, you know what, fellas, you guys are on your own on that one. I can't help you, especially if I come up over here. I'm probably going to get shot in the rear. So since I know the ISU is no longer over here and the arty's probably busy looking at these guys, I'm going to charge in here and take these 2 dudes out. And then I can start dealing with the other guys up there. Going to head this way. All right, fair enough. So we've decided to go this way. How are we going to do it? Well, there's a target. Let's get him. Oh, no. And there's those guys behind us. So you had to know that they were there. You have to look at the lanes of fire. You gave them a definite lane of fire. If I was going after the Skoda or even the ISU 122, I'd have come down through this low area right here and minimize the amount of shots that those 2 guys back there had on me that I knew were there. And we're just not going to survive that. And that's pretty typical for players that are more careful players that play TDs that sit in the back. When they get forced to move forward, they have a little bit of trouble isolating the threat. One of the reasons they sit back a lot like they do is so they can isolate the threat forward. Slows the game down, and that's perfectly fine. But if you are going to move forward in a situation like that, you need to prioritize your targets and be a little bit more aggressive, because you can't leave guns in front and behind you if you can help it. And I think you had a good opportunity to get in there and maybe get that WZ-131 and Churchill out of the game, at which point turning back around and coming back to deal with these guys would have been a little bit easier. Still would have been an uphill struggle based on what was going on in the game, but it really goes back to your initial decision, initial positioning. I really think had you gone up here, you could have done some good work, hold down with the Jackson, that corner right there, coming up and over and shooting down here, flexing back once these guys came around over here, or even once you cleared that out, come back to the middle and then take up your sniper position, dealing with guys that push on you right there. As always, you go to the middle, you leave a lot of shots and hit points more than likely on the table. When you flex over here, you just kind of do that poorly position-wise, getting up on top of a hill out in the open like that. And like I said, once you got to the point where you had to prioritize the threat and get a little aggressive, you stayed very passive and let guys get on both sides of you. Just a lot of things in there to work on. I think if I was to give you the one thing to work on the most right now, it would be your camera technique as far as zooming in too much and staying zoomed in too much. Back out. You will be amazed at how much SA you will gather if you open the aperture a little bit of your radar and take a bigger look around. And then be careful about zooming straight in on guys that are moving fast from right to left, because aiming right at them, first, it's not going to get you a hit. You need lead fire to make that happen. And two, they will often get out of your field of view, at which point now you're searching around with your soda straw trying to find out where they are. It actually reminds me of a story a guy told me up on the DMZ. We were up there doing a tour in Korea, and the guard was talking about the North Korean came down, and what they would do is they'd stand right on the line and they'd get their binoculars, and they would put their binoculars up and stare right at the other South Korean or American guard who was at attention on the other side of the line, literally 5 feet away. So they'd have the binoculars out staring right at him. And the guard told me one day, American guy said, one day as you stand there, he just did one step sideways, and he saw the Korean guy start swinging the binoculars wildly around trying to find him. Instead of just putting the binoculars down and finding out where he was, he started swinging the binoculars around and trying to find where he went. And we have a similar situation right here with your camera work. All right, man, I hope this helped you. Hope it helped anyone who watched it. As always, I do appreciate your support of the channel, and we will see you.